Good Friday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside a very hot weather window today. Boy, if it hadn't felt like summer up to this point, it sure did out there today with temperatures along with lots of sunshine climbing into the low and mid 90s, even some upper 90s around parts of north central, central, and even into eastern Washington. Of course, the hotter areas down around Tri-Cities in the upper 90s today. Beautiful shot from our Rondo Rock Sky-Fi Tower camera looking back upriver today. And it was a hot one. You can see lots of blue sky out there, just a few scattered clouds, and we will see temperatures all over the area into the 90s today. The area that's circled in that red circle is elevated fire risk, and that's right here in the Wenatchee area. We are keeping our eye on that. Low humidities, and we do expect breezy conditions to pick up tonight, and that means a breezy Saturday. We will see winds probably in the Wenatchee area between 15 and 25 miles an hour steady. That'll be tomorrow afternoon. The Columbia Basin could see winds around 30 miles an hour at times, and we could see gusts that high as well. So please, once again, be very, very careful when handling fire. And we'll talk more about your fire weather watch coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and National Park Service announced this week that they will reopen public comment on plans to restore endangered grizzly bears into the North Cascades. A new RV park on city-owned land has opened in Bridgeport, and we have video of a vehicle making a very unsafe, I should say, maneuver on State Route 28 yesterday. But first, we begin tonight. Two people from Marysville are suspected of stealing a woman's beach bag at Slidewaters in Chelan Wednesday and then using her credit card to purchase items at a local store. Chelan County Sheriff Brian Burnett says at the time of the report, the woman said she used her husband's cell phone to track the phone, and it was located with the beach bag in a parked car near Emerson and Wooden Streets in Chelan. A suspect identified as 34-year-old Ryan Albert Heckard Cox approached the vehicle, and deputies were able to determine he was associated with it. He was arrested on unrelated warrants. He was reported to be in possession of credit cards and identifications belonging to the victim's husband. He was booked into the Chelan County Regional Jail. During questioning, the suspect is reported to have told deputies the owner of the vehicle, 34-year-old Sandra Pearson, also from Marysville, was in a nearby store. She was arrested after leaving the store with nearly $800 in purchases made with the victim's credit card. The woman faces multiple charges. The investigation is continuing, and more charges are expected relating to the use of those stolen credit cards. In other news, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and National Park Service announced this week that they will reopen public comment on plans to restore endangered grizzly bears into the North Cascades. The two agencies restart the process to complete the environmental impact statement, which is intended to restore the nearly extinct grizzly bear population. The process was halted late last year when former Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke suspended the public comment period without explaining why. The grizzly bears have been contentious since first introduced 2 years ago. Chelan County Commissioner Doug England has been outspoken with his concerns.
Our issues are that there really is no evidence as far back as we can look that in the portion of Chelan County and Okanagan County that were involved, the grizzly bears were ever there. The old trappers don't give any indication at all. There were grizzly bears to the east, which the Colvilles were very familiar with and were involved with. But in this area, there's really no indication that other than an occasional visitor, there aren't the fish runs, there aren't those kinds of things that would draw grizzly bear in.
Environmental groups such as Conservation Northwest supports the grizzly plans. Spokesman Chase Gunnell responded to critics' concerns.
I would say two things. The first being that the plan that has been proposed by the National Park Service and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to recover this species in the North Cascades is quite reasonable, it's incremental, and it includes only 25 bears over 5 to 10 years. So there will not be a grizzly behind every tree. We're not going to see the level of bear activity that might be seen in places like Yellowstone. This is a slow process over a very long time in a very large area. The other thing I would say is that there are abundant methods available for people living, working, and playing in bear country to coexist with these animals. And in fact, people in places like Northeast Washington, where there are grizzly bears, Montana, Idaho, Alaska, they do coexist with relatively few exceptions. Those exceptions may make the news, but they're far from the rule, and there are tools available for people in bear country to avoid conflict.
In a news release, the group says it, quote, welcomes the new comment period if it leads to the completion of the FEIS and concrete actions to recover the iconic grizzly bear. Meanwhile, 4th District Congressman Dan Newhouse said he was glad the Department of the Interior is seeking local public comments on this issue. In a news release, he encouraged residents of Central Washington to make their voices heard loud and clear so that, in his words, the administration will end this misguided proposal once and for all. Well, a new RV park and city-owned land has opened in Bridgeport. The 17-space Conklin Landing RV Park on the Columbia River is a joint project by the City of Bridgeport and the Douglas County PUD. Each paid half the cost of the $540,000 development. In addition to the RV spaces, the new park includes restrooms, shower facilities, and a picnic shelter. Work on the park began last summer. Though already open, an official grand opening ceremony is scheduled for Saturday, August 3rd, and that time is 11 a.m. Well, before we go to break, let's check out this video. Steve Baker of Wenatchee was driving toward Quincy on Highway 28 near East Wenatchee Thursday morning when his dash cam captured this. As can be seen on Baker's video, when the pickup attempted to pass him, it encounters oncoming traffic and goes to the far left shoulder. Two oncoming vehicles passed the truck before it returns to the right side of the road. Baker's car was traveling at about 60 miles per hour at the time. Baker said he sped up in an attempt to get the pickup's license plate, but decided that was unwise and backed off. He said he reported the incident to the Washington State Patrol. Unbelievable. Coming up next year on the NCWLIFE Evening News, for the first time in 11 years, Wenatchee's town Toyota Center will undergo some major technological upgrades. Firefighting experts say it's a sign of recovery when animals start returning to a burned area, and they are around Orondo. And we'll take a look at what's going on around the valley for you to enjoy this weekend. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Arctic Refrigeration and Heating, serving North Central Washington, is proud to offer the finest heating and cooling air quality products along with prompt and professional customer service since 1984. Regardless of the temperature outside, Arctic is here for you. Arctic offers a variety of services: residential and commercial heating, air conditioning, commercial refrigeration, as well as planned fall and spring maintenance for the overall well-being of your system. Call Arctic Refrigeration and Heating for your heating and cooling needs.
Where will you be a year from now? You could be working as a medical assistant. The Charter College Medical Assistant Certificate Program gets you work ready in 10 months. Add 5 more months to earn an associate degree. We prepare you with hands-on training and support you after graduation with job search help and interview skills. Institutionally accredited by the Accrediting Bureau of Health Education Schools, Charter has been training healthcare professionals for more than 30 years. Charter College. We work to get you to work.
Moving doesn't have to be back-breaking, stressful work. And I don't want you to make a move that way ever again.
Traditionally, you would rent a truck. You would load up your stuff. You would rent a storage unit. You would transport it. And finally, you would unload your stuff yourself. You don't have to lift a finger. We bring the mobile storage unit to you, we drop it off, then one of our trusted packers can load it for you. We come pick it up and store it securely for you. We bring it back to you. No hassle, no stress.
Welcome back. In another news, for the first time in 11 years, Wenatchee's Town Toyota Center will undergo some major technological upgrades. General Manager Mark Miller says 10 years is about the lifespan of video boards, including the Town Toyota Center giant Jumbotron.
Well, currently is the giant Jumbotron board and the ribbon boards are being replaced, and those will be upgraded into higher pixelated LEDs. With that, we've got a couple panels that have gone out, which is a normal thing, but they can't be replaced or worked on, and that's about the life of of upgrades of video boards. So those are being replaced, and Daktronics has won that bid, and the goal obviously is to debut at the opening Wild game September 13th.
Miller says a reserve fund was set up years ago to handle the cost of necessary upgrades.
Dollars have been set aside in a reserve fund just for projects such as this, so no one has to go to the public again. So with those funds have been accumulating since 2013, that is the funding that will be used for this replacement. And every year the building has tried to do some kind of, obviously, capital project. 2 years ago, we purchased a new Zamboni, which is obviously very integral to the business. And then last year, with the public areas of carpeting, was seen an upgrade. So then this year, it's going to be the LED board.
The total price tag for the upgrades is $600,000. Firefighter and experts say it's a sign of recovery when animals start returning to a burned area. So while they were out in a helicopter Thursday mapping the almost 6 miles of fire line at the Desert Canyon fire, the Southeast Washington Interagency Incident Management Team was happy to spot 3 deer. Field Operations Manager Tony Hartley said the photo isn't great, but taking a cell phone photo from a moving helicopter can be challenging. Time now to check in with NCWLIFE's Megan McPherson to find out what's going on around the valley for you to enjoy this weekend.
Here's a look at what's on tap this weekend around the Wenatchee Valley. Meet and hear from the National Geographic Adventurer of the Year, Jennifer Farr, this Friday at 7 p.m. in the local Event Center at Pybus Public Market. The lecture is suitable for all ages. Davis is a long-distance hiker, author, speaker, and ambassador for the American Hiking Society. She has hiked over 12,000 miles on 6 different continents, including through hikes on the Pacific Crest Trail, the Appalachian Trail, the Colorado Trail, the Long Trail in Vermont, the Bibbulmun Track in Australia, and numerous trails in Europe and South America. Her belief is that the trail is there for everyone at every phase of life, and with the goal of getting people, especially women and children, outdoors on their own terms. Theater Under the Stars presents Perry Hodder in the High School Musical, happening this Friday and Saturday at 8 p.m. in Chelan. Imagine the musical kids of High School Musical mixing with the magical cast of Harry Potter, and that's what Perry Hodder in the High School Musical is, a hilarious hodgepodge of magical musical merriment and mayhem. Barnflix presents Big Fish this Friday night at 9 at the Sunshine Ranch. Beer, wine, popcorn, hot dogs, soda, candy, and water are available for purchase at the venue. Parking will be at the ranch, and the cost is $5.45 online or $8 at the door. And finally, Music in the Meadow, the Paperboys, is this Saturday at 7 p.m. at the Meadow Stage at the Icicle Creek Center for the Arts in Leavenworth. Bring a chair or blanket. Food, wine, beer, and other beverages will be available for purchase starting at 6 p.m. Get your tickets at icicle.org. For more information on this weekend's events and others, visit the community calendar at ncwlife.com.
You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come right here on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Mary Maids, please clean the kitchen, and the cabinets, and the floors, and the chairs. And I wish you could clean the dog. Colin is now feeding himself. Thanks, Megan.
Hi, Megan. No worries. We got it all cleaned up. Let's hope Colin gets past the spaghetti flinging stage soon. Till then, we've got you covered. See you next time. Mary Maids.
Being able to support yourself and your family is an important part of who we are. We all need to know we're able to provide ourselves with a secure future. Some job seekers have a harder time finding work. That's why Goodwill's Employment Connection Center is here, a free walk-in job search assistance program designed to help people find work. When you shop at or donate to Goodwill, you're really being a job creator, and that's a good thing for everyone's future. Goodwill. There's more behind the store.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. An expert on opioid use and addiction spoke at the Wenatchee Rotary Club Thursday in a program directed toward helping put the opioid crisis into perspective. In tonight's feature story, here with more details from yesterday's program is NCWLIFE's Kyle Montgomery.
The Wenatchee Rotary Club held a weekly focus program Thursday afternoon on the growing opioid crisis in north central Washington. Executive Director of the Center for Alcohol and Drug Treatment, Loretta Stover, was the guest speaker at the program Thursday and helped put the health epidemic into perspective for attendees.
So to piggyback on prevention and what we need to be doing, we need to be preventing addiction. We need to be working with families and children to talk about earlier stages.
Stover spoke on multiple topics, including how opioid addictions start, the signs that you can look for if you think someone has an addiction, and ways to help or treat an addict. Stover also discussed with NCWLIFE how parents should be actively watching their kids and peer groups to make sure they don't have or start an addiction, as many fail to realize the signs.
So I think that, as adults, we need to educate ourselves around what the latest trends are. There was this statistic thrown out here today that talks about how many parents have no idea that their children have ever come in contact with an opioid or use of opioids. And so we need to constantly be, number one, talking to our children, asking them what's going on, asking them what their peers are doing, which gives us a window into what they're surrounded by and what their attitudes are around drugs and alcohol. That will be helpful. And then also making sure that we are locking up any medications that we have. Taking medication for some people, children, taking medication sort of a big deal. You take medication in the kitchen with mom and dad. Even teenagers, you don't give them their prescription and let them take it to their room and do their own dosage.
In the last several years, opioid-related deaths in Washington state have increased 77%, with drugs such as heroin, Xanax, and other narcotics attributing to recent deaths in Chelan and Douglas counties. The Wenatchee Rotary and Stover hope to continue holding programs in the future to educate the public on issues such as the opioid epidemic. With NCWLIFE News, I'm Kyle Montgomery.
Time now for a check of your north central Washington weather forecast. Before we get to those details, let's take a quick peek outside our weather window. And this is from our Rondo Rock Sky-Fi Tower camera looking back up the Columbia River. A few boats out there today enjoying. Can you enjoy this hot weather? I think it was, in the lower to mid 90s throughout most of central Washington, maybe even some upper 90s in some locations. It didn't get quite that warm here, at least yet unofficially. We still might tick that up a couple more degrees, but 93 unofficially today, our high temperature. 89 is where we should be for this time of year. Overnight low right on the money, 63 degrees, and that's where we should be. Record high on this date back in 1998 at 106. 53 our record low in 1983. Sunrise this morning 5:31, and the sun will set tonight at 8:42. Let's take a look at that surface loop now and show you what we can expect over the next 6 days. Mostly clear. We'll see breezy conditions develop tonight. Remember, out of the northwest, 10 to 20 miles an hour. So we are keeping our eye on that Desert Canyon fire, now up to about 1,400 acres with 200 firefighters. Saturday, partly cloudy. It will be a little bit cooler. We're going to see a quick moving cold front move through the state, and that'll pick up those winds 15 to 25 miles an hour, and lots of wind back to our east in Idaho and the panhandle of Montana. But as I mentioned, it's a quick hitting cold front, so by Sunday, we're back to sunshine, light winds and warmer conditions, clear skies all over Washington state as we end our weekend on Sunday. A very nice day so so get outside if you can Sunday. Monday, we're back to the hot weather as high pressure down in the desert southwest. It's in that Four Corners region, continues to bring up that warm air from the south, and we will see that on Monday into Tuesday. We'll see sunny and warm conditions. Once again, very clear throughout the western United States, and there's that dark orangish red color, which indicates about 90 degrees, and that's where we'll be the first part of next week. And then by the middle of next week on Wednesday, it will be sunny for us, but we are watching this area of low pressure just off the coast of Washington and Oregon. It will move in, especially as we get into Wednesday, just off the coast of Portland and bring western Washington some showers. The question now, will it move into eastern Washington and bring us some much needed moisture? We'll know much more about that as we talk again coming up on the Monday NCW Life Evening News. Let's take a look now at your quick lube and tune forecast tonight. 68 degrees. Get out there and enjoy it if you can tonight, because we're cooling down tomorrow. 84 with windy conditions. 60 your overnight low on Saturday. For Saturday or Sunday into Monday, pretty steady weather. Our warmest day will be Monday at 90 degrees. 88 for your high temperature Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCW Life Evening News continues right after this.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you. Highlander Golf Course is proud to announce their 2 new state-of-the-art full-swing golf simulators with over 80 courses of virtual golf to choose from year-round. Or try their Laser Shot simulated firearm program, or gaming with football, basketball, and much more. Enjoy Highlander food and drink service from their full-service bar and grill in the comfort of their simulator room. Call the Highlander Pro Shop to book your time at 884-4653. That's 884-4653.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service-oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
And a happy finally Friday. The Seahawks got through another day at training camp today at the VMAC in Renton without any problems. Russell Wilson met with reporters and said he was very impressed and has been so far in top rookie wide receiver DK Metcalf.
I compared DK to LeBron. He was talking all this trash, and he looks like him kind of as big as he is. But and so yeah, I think it's important to make sure you spend that time with certain guys and try to build those one-on-one relationships. Obviously, DK being the guy that he is and the guy that the position they get drafted in. There's a lot of high expectations on him, and letting them know that, hey, we're here to, do everything we can to make you the best player you can possibly be. And the great thing is he makes it easy on us because he wants to put the work in.
Now, Bobby Wagner is at training camp, but not working out as he's looking for a new contract. Wilson says Wagner deserves it.
He deserves to be the highest paid linebacker. There's nobody better than him in the game. That's just the honest truth. He's done great things. He's put up the stats. He's done all the things. I think he'll get taken care of. I just give him the confidence it'll work out. And we need Bobby Wagner. He's a great football player. I don't want to play him. That's for sure. I'd love for him to be on my team. Let's play together for a long time. And so, Bobby and I have goals too. We're very similar. We want to win a Super Bowl together again and multiple more, a few more Super Bowls and end it the right way, and so that's kind of our mentality.
Wilson and the Hawks have 12 more days of practice before their first preseason game against Denver August 8th at CenturyLink Field. You can find out and watch more of Wilson's interview at Seahawks.com. Ryan Johnston and 2 relievers combined on a 2-run 1-hitter as Walla Walla beat Wenatchee 3-2 last night. Voice of the Apple Sox, Joel Norman, has more.
The Wenatchee Apple Sox bats were stymied on Thursday night at Borleski Stadium as the Sox dropped the second game of the three-game set by a 3-2 score. Wenatchee didn't collect a base hit until the 7th inning when Dalton Heron tripled and was then brought in with a groundout. The Sox did have the bases loaded with no outs in the 8th inning. However, they were only able to get 1 run out of it and ultimately lost by 1 run as well. The Sox look to salvage the series at 7:05 p.m. on Friday night against the Sweets. With your Apple Sox update, I'm Joel Norman.
Thank you much, Joel. The Sox, by the way, return home this weekend to face Portland in the first of 3 games at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium. We'll have Game 1 tomorrow night right here on the NCWLIFE channel, 6:15 with a pregame, 6:35 first pitch on your home on the television for the Apple Sox NCWLIFE channel. Also in the West Coast League last night as we open up the Les Schwab scoreboard, Steve Ramirez, Cameron Rapetti, and Justin Boyd each hit home runs as Ridgefield edged Victoria 7-6. Ezra Samperi hit a 3-run home run to lead Kelowna to an 11-1 win over Yakima Valley. Pippin pitching allowed 13 walks in that one. Tristan King hit a solo home run, and Nick Jovetic was 2 for 3 with a run as Corvallis edged Portland 3-2. The Knights improved to 30-7 on the summer with a win. Non-league play, Northwest Star Academy scored 4 runs in the first inning, cruised to a 6-1 win over Bend. Nick DePonzio and Alexander Marco each hit homers to power Port Angeles past Redmond 14-4, and Everett held Cowlitz to 2 runs on 4 hits with 10 strikeouts and a 4-2 victory. Well, thanks to Ridgefield and Kelowna, Wenatchee neither gained nor lost ground in the North Division of the West Coast League. Harbor Cats remain out in front at 9-5 with Wenatchee a game back at 8-6. Port Angeles leapfrog Yakima Valley into 3rd, 2 games out of first place. The Pippins are a game under 500 and 2.5 back. Kelowna 5th at 5-9. The Bells in last place at 3-8. Here's what's on the sports schedule for this coming weekend. The Wenatchee NIT softball tournament is tomorrow and Sunday at Walla Walla Point Park. This is the 41st annual event bringing firefighters and first responders to the Valley for that tournament. Also, Sunburn Classic 3-on-3 basketball happening tomorrow and Sunday on 3rd Street in East Wenatchee. Tournament organizer J.D. Taylor says after bouncing around the last few years, he thinks they have finally found a permanent home.
It's going to be home. We're in East Wenatchee. Thanks to the city of East Wenatchee and Eastmont Parks and the school district, we're going to be on 3rd. Right in front of the high school.
Eastmont High School and the park.
Yep. And so we pick up the park as well this year, so we have lots of shade and water and toys for the kids. It's going to be a great location to have this event.
Taylor was a guest on recent Wake Up Wenatchee Valley to describe what the tournament is all about.
It's half-court basketball. We may not be the biggest Hoop Fest size, and I don't think we would want to be that. That's a whole different deal. But we're a very, very good, well-organized tournament that's a lot of fun, and that's our goal, is to be we can be the best. And it's a lot of fun, and people look forward to coming back because of our officials that we hire and we bring in. They keep it going, and then just the way we run our tournament, we're under one universal clock, and games start on time.
Cornhole tournament and wiffle ball tournament also going on this weekend at Eastmont Community Park. Also on the schedule this weekend at Appalachia, games show tomorrow and Sunday, as well as team sporting clinic on Sunday as well. Tim Beckham hit a grand slam home run in a 5-run 3rd inning. Seattle rocked Detroit 10-2 last night at T-Mobile Park. Wade LeBlanc improved to 6-3 on the mound, going 6 innings, allowing 2 runs on 4 hits with 4 strikeouts. Mariners and Tigers go at it again tonight at 7:10. Also the American League West last night, Danny Santana hit a grand slam home run. Texas pounded Oakland 11-3. That's sports summer at Granstrom. Have a great weekend. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. Also, keep it right here on the NCW Life channel Monday morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with the return of the legendary host, Dan Kuntz. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us, and have a great weekend.
NCWLIFE channel is your home for local news, local weather, and events including live local high school sports. Watch inspiring local shows featuring local people. Don't miss Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's learn. Guada TV. Street Talk and Other Stuff. The 12th District. Life with Lisa. And the Arbiter of Stoke. NCW Life Channel is your local TV station.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
I'm Jim Corcoran.
And I'm Ken Osborne.
And you're watching the NCW Life Channel.